Gee, can you give me my headphones, please?
Yeah. Where are they? In the room, probably.
Don't worry about it. You're fine. Todd, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
How's things?
Things are good.
Good. How's the cases going? How's the coverage?
It's I feel like beginning of August things were really low and then things picked up a little bit. Plus with the Adelson case, I think people got into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I think also too. Yeah, 100%. I think also too. School and kids going back to school, people going back to like regular work schedules. So I mean, it definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
AD, how are you?
How's it going? Good. Hold on, let me fix my camera. Do you know how to do where the boxes are different, or do you want it like that, the layout?
I have no idea how to change them.
Ah!
I think I can mess around with the little box. Hold on, let me see. If I can mess around with this little box sitch.
Let me see.
Go. I figured at least the first little All-Star Live, there's going to be little mess ups. I have no idea how to mess with those boxes.
It's all good. I think it's cool.
There she is.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm learning it. Kristin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So do you guys all know each other? I know Kristin and AD do, but do you guys know Todd?
I don't.
I've followed Todd for a while.
Todd.
Thank you. I'm gonna repay the favor.
Absolutely.
If I'm not following you already.
You are welcome,
Get
sir.
my green screen on. Hold on, so you don't get nannered for me being for me walking.
Just walking.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, I started following Todd on the last account and chatting with him a little bit before the last account went haywire. But was covering Karen Reed, I think, is where it all started, right?
Yeah.
100%. Where we all began.
Yeah.
No, you know what's crazy is I've been wanting to message you because you told me how you got hacked, and I can promise you there is a lady she's pretty great at what she does, but I got like this like fake, it seems like, request from her, and I knew that it wasn't right. And now I'm seeing in my email and she has like the blue check next to her name, and it's like, this person messaged you. Like every day it's like, this person messaged you. I'm not clicking view message, and I go into my messages unread. She's not there, and I'm like, I'm not falling for that because I know that it got you in your email. So I wonder if it's kind of the same fishy situation.
It could have been. Jess, how you doing? She's the true crime. So Moto can't make it today, so I was like, all right, we'll add another. So how you doing, Jess?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Good.
Can you hear
This
me?
is Kristin, AD, and Todd.
Hey.
I just followed you, Jess.
Same here.
Awesome. I'll do the same.
Well, somebody was impersonating.
Look at you guys just supporting each other.
A couple of your followers and friends reached out to me, and they're like, somebody's impersonating you. They were downloading my videos, created an account, and so I had to slide off the downloadable on mine, and then I did report it. But you had to like take a picture of yourself holding your license and like to get them.
Oh yeah.
To get them to report them, because they blocked me, so I couldn't report them. I had to go through like the internet and do a whole formal complaint. So
I just found an account that somebody did that to sunglasses, and this account had like over 10,000 followers, and I let her know. An account that somebody did that to sunglasses, and this account had like over 10,000 followers, and I let her know. I didn't see the message, and I was like, hey, and it was like some weird name number thing.
I have that happening right now over on multiple platforms. I just had 2 clients message me and go, did you send me not true crime corny? He said they're like, why did you send me a request for money? I go, I didn't.
Oh,
at
I
all.
wouldn't.
We're like, we already paid our invoice, and I was like, unbelievable. So now I had to
Mine
literally
was on me though. I mean,
everywhere. Oh, did you click on a link or something?
yeah, 3 times.
Ah.
I think I learned after the first one. Um,
You
so
said
when
3 times.
3 times straight up, I wish I was lying. So for me, when I had that account, it was like I think at the time it was like around 46,000
Yeah.
followers. So I was like, all right. And I said, what do I have to do to get the blue check mark? And I went through the verification thing, and it said to do it through TikTok. So I did. And then when I started to do that, um, it then said I couldn't do it because I guess I needed like news articles with my name in it or something like that. So I don't know if you guys know, but like I saved a hawk. Like in my town, there was a legitimate hawk that was stuck in a batting cage at a little league field, and I just put that. I'm like, that's me. I did it, and that didn't work. But the point that I'm trying to make is,
That's hilarious, though.
it was real too, but it didn't work.
You
And
would.
I know I would, and I did.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
so then I got an email maybe like a couple days later saying, hey, we've just about approved your blue check mark. We just need a couple more things, something like that. So I clicked on it. Then it says, put in your email, put in your password. Yeah, no problem. Let's just keep giving them everything. So I did that. And then it said it's going to send you like a 4-digit code or a 6-digit code or something like that. And it never came. And I'm like, huh. And it just never came. And then I was like, all right, whatever. Maybe I just screwed something up. And I never really thought about it. Then it happened again like a week later. And I was like, I'll just do it again. Why not? So I did this 3 times. And it finally got hacked. And it was on a Tuesday night. I like literally just posted a video like maybe 2 hours prior to this. And I was on my page. Everything looked fine. And then all of a sudden I couldn't get in anymore. And it sent me an email saying, are you trying to log in? And I just disregarded it because why else would I not pay attention, right? And so far I'm 3 for 3, and I didn't pay attention to it, and I had no way to log back in. So then this is where things get interesting. This is the Italian version. It takes forever. So then I had to did we lose Kristin? Are we back? We good?
No, I'm back. My phone's not going to stop ringing, so I had to switch over to my iPad. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. So then it got to the point where I'm like, all right, I have to download WhatsApp because everyone kept saying to me, hey, talk to this person, talk to this person. I'm like, I don't even know who's real and who's not. So I downloaded WhatsApp, and this guy finds me, and he shows me a video of him saying, hey, I can help you get your account back. And I start looking at it, and I go, wait a minute. That view is from like when you're logged in. I'm like, wait a minute. The only way you would know that is if you're logged into my account. I'm like, it's you. And he goes, yes. And admitted it. He goes, I'm the one who did it. He goes, if you want it back, it's going to be $2,000, like $2,000. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I used some of my connections to find out who the person was. It was a legitimate hacker. And I told them I knew exactly where they were. I sent them their address. I go, look, you can move. I'll still find you. Why do you do this? And he just pretty much told me, he goes, it's not personal. We have bills to pay. We have kids. This is just what we do. And they said, we
That
don't
is
go
the
after.
most truthful hacker I've ever heard of my life.
Yeah. And just straight up. And people are like, why didn't they go after somebody bigger? I go, first of all,
Can't you go to the police, though?
Um,
Considering you were making money and file a police
so
report?
I
I should know
could
the answer
have.
to this. I should know the answer to this question.
I could have, yes, but I said to myself, you know what? At this point, I'm not even going to go to that level. I'm going to go through TikTok because most likely they're going to say, listen, like we're never going to be able to track this person down. The way you got their information is not the
Yeah, you
most
couldn't use
legal.
it in evidence. Right. Got
Right.
it.
So it's not admissible. So at that point, I just knew like how it was going to go. So I said, forget it. I don't want it back. I've been trying, but listen, same thing with Todd. I sent pictures of myself. I'm like this. All these stupid pictures that are in my freaking camera roll of me
God,
like
that's
an idiot. And they haven't gotten back. Like every once in a while they go, no violation, or did we help you? I'm like, no. So at this point, I think AD, you were the one that was either telling me or one of my followers or maybe my mods like, hey, he should go to X, and this is like but I don't have X, and I was like,
no, it's a good thing. Don't. It's a cesspool.
yeah. So
Well,
I
it's
didn't do
like
it.
they'll look at if you have a ticket number, you can call out the thing and they'll look at your ticket number. It gets pushed through the system faster through X. And I only know that because my son's half brother him and his girlfriend have a really big platform and an agent and all that. And she's the one who gave me the information when I got mass reported as soon as I hit 10K. So I couldn't make any creator reward money. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about just creating one just for the God forbid, which I probably still will. But I think at this point, a lot of people have asked me even on my own lives, like, will you ever get it back? And I go, honestly, I feel like it's tainted, and the way that it works with hackers is they may give it back to you, but like they'll have some form of software in there that no matter how many times you change your password, they're always going to know. And I'm like, at this point, it's tainted. I just want to move on, start fresh, and that's where I'm at.
right.
Well, at least you're back. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
they? I mean, if there is there is an account impersonating me, they're downloading all my videos. How they're doing it, I don't know. I mean, I reached out to TikTok like a week ago,
There's
reported it.
apps now, Todd, that you can bypass the download feature.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so TikTok hasn't gotten back to me to even acknowledge that I made the report full on, filled out everything, gave the information. It's still up. It's still up there.
Yeah, mine too. They still haven't gotten rid of it yet. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, they still haven't gotten rid of it yet. So
Crazy.
at this point, I just keep telling people, just continue to report it. Eventually, TikTok will look at it and say, there's too many people reporting this account. We're just going to shut it down. That's
It wouldn't
eventually
let
how
me
it works.
report it. It wouldn't
What's
let me report it. It
Yeah.
wouldn't let me report it.
That's
Oh,
what I
great.
did when mine got compromised. I reported them to try to get it back, and they told me that it doesn't meet their requirements. It's because it's a bunch of AI bots. There's nobody that's actually. Remember AD last night, that Spooner dog guy that I was talking about, the one that catches the predators or whatever. He had to switch over to the other purple platform because every single time he would show his screen or do anything, he got flagged. And then he was like, "This is a waste of my time." Like, he made everybody like switch over. It was awful. But yeah, it's just a bunch of AI bots is what he ended up finding out. He's like, there's nobody actually reviewing any of the stuff that gets sent into them.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
100%. I mean, at this point, it is what it is, right? It's been a few weeks. I've moved on. We're growing, slowly but surely, and we're still putting out what we're supposed to put out. So at this point, it is what it is.
I'm glad.
Years.
So what are you guys working on? What are some of the cases you guys are working on right now?
The algorithm is very tricky. It is. So one day, I mean, like 3 weeks ago, I had 1.4 million views on one, right? And then you do the same, you follow the same hashtags, if you will, I'm going to lead with the same hook. I'm going to lead with, use the same. And then the next one gets 5,000. And you're like, I feel like the algorithm has been, so you think you're on a really hot thing that people are, because the Amy Bradley thing, as you know, was crazy for you. You were the go-to, right? You mean you were putting videos out there like crazy. And then it's like the algorithm changes and you're like, what did I change? Or what am I not doing right? So that's where I've been trying to, you feel like you've got a really, like the Karen Reed thing for everybody, I felt like had momentum and the momentum didn't really stop. I feel like
kept going.
It just kept going. And
that's because they're changing it and they're trying different things out, like going from, like, I use the same hashtags in Karen Reed and there's probably like 20, which is like a bit ridiculous, but it got traction. Now they're testing this theory of like 5 hashtags, but then there's like different ways of what you say in your description, what you're saying in your video, and how it matches. And they're trying out all these different theories and it's just messing it all up.
Yeah, I agree.
It's strange.
It's the strangest thing. Jess, what about you? What's working for you? What are you focused on?
Yes. Well, what am I working on next, or what am I focused on for algorithm wise?
Oh, whatever you like. This is your time.
Yeah, I think like the five hashtags, they changed that. That's a great point, because I mean, I feel like before you could just say whatever. But yeah, it's some are working, some are not. I mean, I feel like the Amy Bradley case is obviously taking off. Everyone's so interested in that, but like I started kind of deep diving into the Maura Murray thing, and that's not taking off as well. So it's just, I think it just depends. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think the hashtag thing is interesting. The SEO is another thing, and there's just always like a constant learning curve that we don't really know about. It just kind of happens randomly. Like Todd, like at 3 million views, and your next one gets 1,800.
I
There's
know.
no rhyme or reason.
You're right.
You're doing the same thing. You're not changing anything up. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're hit with and then conversely, all of a sudden, it's a 400,000 view video, and you're like, I put zero effort into that
Right.
one.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know,
So Jen said, is the Maura Murray case solved? No, it's
no,
not. It's still ongoing. It's been what, 20,
it's been since 2009,
4,
2004,
right?
2004,
4.
21 years.
Yeah. I actually we went to the same high school.
Oh, really?
So I believe I went to high school with her sister.
Oh, Julie?
And so yeah. So I think this case was obviously hit home for me and like my town, but um, it's just wild.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
About the Maura Murray case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 second.
AD, you'll like this case.
Sounds
So
interesting.
she was a UMass Amherst college student. She went for nursing. She had left West Point and went over to UMass. She had some issues with West Point, I guess, and went over to UMass, and um, she sent an email to her professors, letting her professors know that there was a death in the family, but there wasn't. So she said she'd be out for about a week, and she got in her car. She drove to New Hampshire and took out. I think she emptied her ATM, her bank account from,
Yeah.
went to the ATM and emptied her.
There was
I
about
think she took out about
300 something bucks or
right.
something there.
Yeah, she emptied that. She went to the liquor store and bought, wine and bunch of alcohol, and they think she was, drinking and driving in her car because there was spilt wine when they found her car. What happened was that um, it was February, so she must have gotten a little accident. I think she might have spun out a little bit in Haverhill, New Hampshire, and so she got out of her car, and a bus driver came by to check on her, and she said, "Oh, I already called AAA." Well, as soon as I guess it sounded like she didn't do that after all, but then the police came, and when the police came, she had completely vanished, and she left everything. I think all her, everything from school and I want to say maybe her license, or everything was gone. She was gone.
Everything was gone. Her purse
I
was
heard
gone. Everything was gone.
I heard this too. Tell me if this is right, that she actually emailed her professors claiming an unaliving in the family, even though it was untrue, like days before she actually just went missing. Like she was almost
Correct.
planning on just leaving town, and then she
Ye-
never told anybody about the trip to New Hampshire.
right.
Correct.
Yep. And there wasn't a death in the family, so that was, something was going on personally, I think, with her. And they there's um a lot of issues, I think, with the bus driver. People were pointing fingers at him. He was acting a little shady. The police, I think, people are kind of pointing fingers at the police. They didn't do their investigation enough. I think they brought in some dogs, and the dogs traced her scent down to the road and completely stopped in the middle of the road, as if she were maybe had gotten into another car, or just had been picked up or something. Um,
It's a
Wow.
wild case. Like when you talk about somebody literally vanishing, like this girl was, I think, 21 years old, just completely and utterly vanished. And the way it looks, it's also only like an hour and 8 hour and 10 minutes from me. So eventually I want to go to that location and just kind of see if I can pick up any, I don't know, like weird mental signals that I would typically pick up. But I think the most interesting part about that case, maybe the word interesting is probably not the correct word, but most of the people that we would want to talk to are not here with us anymore. Like the bus driver's passed away.
right.
He was allegedly the main person who saw, last person to see her alive. And when she said she called AAA, there's no cell service there. There's nothing. So there's no way she would have called AAA. And plus, Julie, her sister, confirmed there was no phone calls made at all. She actually told me before my last account was hacked via just like a regular TikTok message. She said the very last thing was a phone call at 4:30 p.m. on that day. But this happened around 7:30 in the morning, 7:30 at night. So 3 hours elapsed from the last time she actually used her cell phone. So when she told them that she called AAA, she didn't, which we would assume, she probably didn't want anything to do with that weird guy stopping on a remote road, right? But then his
What
wife
year was this?
called 911 shortly after. This is Mara Murray.
What year?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, 2004.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah, it was
2004.
February 9th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. That's when they found the vehicle, right?
Yes, the cops
And it
ended
was
up getting there
crashed,
shortly afterwards.
and the vehicle was crashed.
Yes,
Looked
so
like it.
it
Okay.
was facing, so it was driving, I don't know if it was driving north, south, east, west, but to use our imaginations, it was driving north, and it was found facing south. So
And
it
it was
spun.
snowing at the time too, right?
No, there was no snow. There was
Okay.
there was snow
Still
like
on the
in the
ground.
woods, but there wasn't snowing like at that point. That's
Oh,
why,
got
like,
it.
if
Okay.
you look at, if we have to kind of use our imagination, but let's say she's driving, right? The driver's side headlight was hit and smashed. So if you're driving this way and you're hit, you're going to naturally spin. So I believe she was hit head on and then spun around. And then
Yeah.
at that point, we don't know. Everything at that point is off. Nobody knows. Like, even when the cops got there, we were told that that one of the witnesses that was driving home mentioned one of the cops' vehicles. I think it was 001, and that was supposed to be linked to the chief of police. But apparently, the chief of police wasn't working that night, and they tried to discredit her. And she goes, "I am 120% sure that was 001. That was the cruiser, and that cruiser belonged to the chief of police. They don't just hand those cruisers off. That's usually directly for the one individual, and that's the chief. But turns out the chief wasn't working that night. But was he? Was he not? We don't know. There's a lot in question.
Golly, that was a long time ago too.
Have you guys
Yeah.
heard about the Brandon Swanson case? It gives me vibes about that one. That was back in 2008 in like rural Minnesota, but his car got stuck in a ditch and he called his parents for help. They actually sat on the phone with him for like 47 minutes as he described like his surroundings and tried to walk to a nearby town. But then the call was like abruptly dropped as he says, "Oh shit." And then he was never heard from again. He just vanished.
I heard the name. I do not know the details of it. Someone else brought that up to me. I think either on a live or in a comment or something. And I remember hearing about it, but I do not know a single. You just told me everything I've never heard before.
Yeah, his actually the Minnesota law, which is called Brandon's law, was created because of his disappearance that basically forces law enforcement to immediately investigate missing person reports instead of like waiting like they have been and do in a lot of jurisdictions. But yeah, it was like a 1:15 in the morning on May 14th of 2008, and he was 19 years old. Called his parents for help, and then just completely vanished after saying, "Oh shit!" The call went silent, and then his phone remained active, but wouldn't answer or pick up any of the calls. And
What
no
was his
one,
last name?
Swanson.
Swanson.
Yeah, I'll send you the info on it. It's crazy.
I'm not trying to laugh. Every time I hear the name Swanson, it reminds me of like Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and
When he's
Dumber.
like, "Swing
Molly.
Samsonite." That's the one.
Molly Swanson.
Oh wow!
That's crazy.
Dang, that one runs deep then.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And our family
There's
members.
so many
talking?
cases. So many cases.
It's ridiculous right now. I can't keep up.
Well, that's the thing is, like, even when you switch to keep up, I did that with the last account. Like, I was like, all right, I'm going to focus a little bit on Mara Murray because there was really no real developments with Amy Bradley. And it's Todd, there wasn't really much going on with the Karen Reed thing afterwards until Michael Proctor and all that.
Right.
So, like, when you switch up, a lot of people, like, I think my followers here will agree, right? Like, I would switch up and I always put the background as whoever I'm speaking about. And I remember putting it up in Mara Murray, and it's like, are you done with Amy Bradley? Are you not covering that anymore? I'm like, well, I am, but like, I don't just stick with just one case. Everyone's like, what about Amy? Like, people get literally married to like that one case that you work on. And that's why when my account got hacked and I started this new one, I'm like, I gotta go back to Amy because that's how people know.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
This one's addicting,
I want
though.
to talk about one case because in your comments they're like, can you give us an update on this one? And it's like,
Oh my
well,
God,
this live isn't about that. This live is about this. And you don't want to be rude or be like, we'll have another one for that one.
I would be talking about Mara Murray, and I would be like, well, yes, so yeah, so we don't have anything new on Amy, blah, blah, and then I would talk, and then sometimes I talk about Amy, I'm like, oh yeah, Karen Reed, blah, blah, blah. So,
Yeah.
you know, which is fine. I don't mind. Like I can bounce back and forth, but it's tough when you start to switch because it's like you have to hit a brand new audience. Nobody knows you anymore. You know, it's nuts.
Yeah. Justice for Derek, who's in the chat right now, her story, her son's story is absolutely insane. He was leaving a club at night and he was walking down the highway and was hit by a vehicle that fled. And the cops know who this individual is. It's a D, or well, I don't know what I can say on your live and what I can't, but it's an informant for the police. So basically they're like completely trying to protect this informant. And they were seen washing red stuff off of the vehicle in the middle of the night at the car wash. Long story short, he was then hit by four other vehicles, so a total of 5 vehicles while he was waiting to call the police. Nobody, the last guy is the one, the second to last guy is the one that stopped him and was able to like basically get traffic under control so he didn't get hit anymore, but he was pronounced unalived at the scene. It's crazy. So I have a call with her. Well, I've already talked to her. I have all the reports and stuff, so I'm gonna be reporting on that one next. But I'm talking to her and her husband tomorrow morning. But yeah, it's a really sad. And it's 14 years? I just saw your text, Tammy, so I'm sorry, but it's 14 years today that he's been gone. It's awesome.
We have a couple of the same questions in the chat. What cases are we all working on right now? So everyone knows I'm working on Amy Bradley. That's my focus case. Do you guys just want to go like one by one? What are your focus cases?
I've been on the Adelson case now, the Donna Adelson case, but she is the matriarch mother-in-law who just literally last week was found guilty on all 3 charges of first-degree murder for masterminding the death of her ex-son-in-law. She's the 5th person in this case to actually be convicted of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. The one person who has not been charged in this case is her actual daughter, who was the wife of the man she had unalived. And my thinking is that she might be next after this trial. She testified, and so that has just been consuming me. That's all I've been posting on probably since the trial began. But that's an interesting one if you're interested, just for anyone to see. It's been 11 years since this man died, and they have gone after very slowly, very methodically, the FBI, the police, the investigators, one by one by one by one, and listening to the wiretaps between the mother-in-law and her son, who has hired the hitman to go after it's just all, and to have watched the prosecutor in that case piece it all together for the jury after 11 years. And this woman's now 75, but they threw her in jail last Thursday for the rest of her life. So that has consumed me. And
sounds like a good case.
I think it would definitely be next. I followed this case back in 2014 whenever it first happened. I didn't cover it here just because I've been caught up in a different one, but I remember the very initial interview with her and how she was like, I mean, I might have said like, God, I wish he was just gone so that I didn't have to deal with him anymore. And I mean, I don't know who took that as like me being serious on it. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, and she tried to pin it on her boyfriend, and then
what is like the redhead, like almost like a strawberry blonde headed guy, from what I can remember. Yeah.
Yes, and thankfully, he either knew enough or sensed something. They had broken up, and he went away out of town for work, and he's on video camera at a Tennessee gas station pumping gas at the same time the hit occurred. So that was his alibi. But they planned to pin it on him. And they had the hitmen rent the same car he drove.
Oh, so they were like setting this up.
They were set, and then he went out of town, like unannounced, went out of town. and was seen. And so then they went, oh, now what? Now,
Yeah.
now what
Then
do
you
we
have two Hispanic dudes in a car going through tolls that have cameras. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
they weren't very smart about it. I'll tell you that.
They were not. They were not. So I wonder if there's still things under seal in this case. So I keep saying, I'm like, is what's sealed in this case the indictment for Wendy? They coming for her next? Because the mother and father, they caught on a wire talking about fleeing to Vietnam after the son was convicted because they thought, oh no, she's next. And they literally arrested her on the gate bridge onto the plane at Miami International Airport and threw her in jail.
Jesus.
So,
Which is crazy because didn't she ask permission to go?
well, she had talked to her lawyer and said, and they had said, there's no warrant out for your arrest. You're free to travel, of course. And, but the police were just setting her up because they had been tapping the phones for, and she was on a call with her newly convicted son, and she forgot to hang up the phone. So the cops heard her and her husband talking in the background in their living room about extradition, trips to Vietnam, one-way ticket, fast track a visa, and they thought, oh man, she's going to flee town.
Oh, wow.
That's how they got her.
They
She
literally
was
got
an
her
intelligent
on
one,
the
huh?
plane. Like she was
On the
walking
plane.
on the plane.
Yeah, she was the mastermind, no question.
I believe it.
I think it's
That's
funny
awesome.
people
She
think
lived such a high profile life, like very like rich and lavish and all this.
100%.
So when she got arrested, the panic set in. And I don't know if anybody saw the video of her in the back of the paddy wagon. Or
Yes.
when she got
Full blown.
convicted and was like convulsions and like
Saw that.
weird shit like that.
I am waiting for them to arrest Wendy because Wendy knew exactly what was going down. They were speaking in code. She had fixed TV on her planner for that morning, and that was code for the hit. And
Todd, let me ask you something really quick, because did you hear when they were cross-examining her, though, when the defense was cross-examining her, though, it did say on the form, though, if you have an appointment earlier, that's the only thing that threw me off, is it says, if you have an appointment on another day or earlier than this day, would you accept it? And they put yes.
Right.
So is there any amount of that makes you think that maybe possibly she really didn't know? That's the only thing that I think is still kind of throwing me off.
yeah, you're right. That threw me off too. But I keep going back to you are the only person who knew that man's schedule to the minute.
Right.
He was taking your kids exactly at the time they check in for preschool. He goes to the gym afterwards. No one else, because they're all living in Miami, knows his schedule. And she also drove to the crime scene that morning.
Yeah.
Went out of her way to the liquor store. She saw the crime tape, turned around. She saw the police officer, and the police officer testified to seeing her van. And Charlie, her brother, was on the wire on the phone saying to his mother, she just couldn't stay away, could she? She just couldn't stay away. So leads me to believe she provided some information somehow for them to have done what they did when they did to him. That's my thinking.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you. AD, what are you covering?
I am knee deep in Austin Drummond since
Ooh.
that preliminary hearing.
Yeah, I've seen that about on your page. That's right.
Oh, I've posted a lot more on the Book of Faces because I feel like you can say and do a lot more over there without getting, over here. But I've been trying to keep it on both. But yeah, that ever since the preliminary on the 4th, things have just been wild. Like, I feel like it has just consumed me. My brain hurt the night that they had the preliminary because things came out that were just like, what? I don't know who's all familiar with that case or knows the gist of it in here. I don't know if you know Todd or, but yeah, that's the quadruple murders in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the baby was left on the lawn.
Yep.
And yeah, and they had the preliminary. Now there's been like 4 people that have been arrested with accessory after the fact. A couple of them were moved from one county to another and like 2 charges of accessory has been added to 4 of them. And during the preliminary hearing, so a quick rundown is they were all involved with running rugs, where they would do drops and smuggle them into the prison with like drones and things like that. And the known like drop spot is down this long like country road, like 2 miles from the prison or whatever it is. And that's where everybody met up that morning, to apparently, I mean, it's speculated to do some kind of deal. Maybe some folks feel like they were lured there. But it was revealed that there was a car that was rented the night before by one of the accessories after the fact. That 2 of the victims went and bought a burner phone and burlap camo tarps, the victims. And that supposedly that burner phone was used at the scene, and they have it connected with one of the vehicles that was rented. Everything is he said, she said, he said. No real evidence that they have presented in the preliminary, though.
Right.
So I'm interested to see where that's going to go. So finding out that one of the victims or 2 of the victims went to the store to buy a burner phone, and that burner phone was then later used, I don't know. It is a web, I will tell you that.
I love he said, she said cases because you can go in so many different directions, and at the same
It
time,
reminds me of Karen.
I was gonna say it's literally like one of these typical Massachusetts cases, right? Karen Reed specifically. It's he did this, she did that. No one knows, you know.
It's like the corrupt DA, and then putting words in people's mouth. Like, oh, didn't he have an interview with a Nashville news station and he said he was at the scene? Yes. Well, didn't he say that he dropped the baby off as well whenever you were listening on that call? He's like, no, I didn't hear him say that. And then 5 minutes later, he turns around in his closing and says, the 911 call came in at 3:11. And keep in mind, he said he dropped the baby. And it was like, no, he didn't.
You're right.
And then they're showing pictures of the vehicles coming and going, the Rogue, if you will, that was rented. And when they're stopping it at a time and saying, this is the Rogue that was coming or going, and we know it because it's linked with the time of this burner cellular phone. It's at this exact time. It's not the same car, though. It's 2 totally different cars.
Right.
And then people were trying to, it's just like, oh my gosh.
It's captivating. Even though it can be confusing and frustrating, you're still glued to it.
Oh, I'm like beyond glued. If like my, yeah.
Glued is not even the word to explain how she's handling this case. She's like up all hours of the night, just like taking notes and trying to figure out this puzzle. It's hilarious.
Oh, I know. I see her live, and I do something. I get on like 4 meetings. I come back on. I still see the red circle. I'm like, what's AD doing? She's sleeping? What's she doing? How
I
many
haven't
cups
been
of
on
coffee
live
is she-
that much lately because I've been digging deep, but yeah.
Nuts.
Oof.
Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate it. True Crime Curious. What are you working on?
Well, so I'm knee deep, obviously, in the Amy Bradley, and that's just, I'm kind of at a standstill with that. I kind of want to deep dive a little bit more into the Anna Walsh case.
Yes.
Out of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like
Yep.
waiting
Brian
with
Walsh.
bated breath on that one because it's almost like you got to hit it at the right time. Like no one's really paying attention yet, and you got to wait till they're paying attention. Right?
Yeah.
So true.
But that's a good one.
There's
It's
a lot
tough
of
on
there's a lot of
those
key
too
players in that
because
time.
they're, yeah, it's tough on those two because it's going to be a federal, case, isn't it? Isn't that one federal as well?
No, that was not federal.
Okay, just the other one, Birchmore.
Birchmore's
Okay,
federal.
I knew
Yeah, Cindy
Birchmore was a
Birchmore.
little tough because it's federal, so it's almost like Diddy. You're hearing second.
You're hearing, if you ever saw that Diddy thing on Netflix, it was like a dramatization. I thought I was watching a cartoon. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look like him. And I just couldn't get into it. But yeah, when they're regular criminal case, not federal, you can watch the whole thing. You can cover it.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of shady players in the Karen Reed involved in this case too. So it's interesting.
But did
Todd,
they just
was
roll again?
Proctor the guy for that?
So Proctor and Buchanan both were, and they tried to get his charges reduced because he said he didn't grant them the full permissions, or they had the permissions to go into all of the devices, because the devices in which he was searching for things were his kids' devices. And that's what they were trying to get the first degree charges kicked down or even thrown out. And that the judge didn't go for that.
Yeah.
But still, they did.
There was a lot. I mean, even who else was involved? It was
Tully.
Probably.
yeah,
Probably
and
with
then
Guarino was in there involved in that as well.
Yep.
and also oh God, what is his name?
Proctor, Buchanan, Tully, Guarino. Those are the main ones that were involved in it. Are we missing another person, Todd?
Yep,
Fanning.
What was
Fanning.
No.
That's
Is it Fanning?
Fanning. Mm-hmm.
the? But yeah, I mean I wonder if that's going to be another Kohlberger, where at the last minute he might decide to take a plea, because, and maybe not, I just, with the evidence, or what appears to be evidence from, he was already under house arrest from the art heist from previously, and he lied to whomever, saying that he was going to his mom's house, went to Home Depot, he's on video at Home Depot buying all the things one would use to perpetrate the things he's accused of perpetrating. And then we're talking about dumpsters and Swampscott, and it's just like,
And
what?
Peabody. I was like, what?
I know. So I wonder if, like, at the end of the day, they say, look, there's too much here. I don't know. I mean, I was surprised with when that happened with Kohlberger. We were all expecting a trial, right? And then
I was excited. That was supposed to be my 2.0. I was like, Karen Reed, Brian Kohlberger. That's my 2.0.
Years. I was going to Idaho for that.
Exactly. I know.
That's where my son is. That's why I did a video there. I was like, well,
nice.
he appeals.
I was all into it. I was like, oh, really? Thanks.
But as we know, some of these defendants are so narcissistic that that's just the case of the Donna Adelson that I just covered. That family is so narcissistic. They thought that no one's gonna catch me, and no one's gonna get me. I'm better than this. And,
Charlie even said that, didn't he?
yeah,
I thought so.
yeah,
He said something along those lines.
yeah. So sometimes that's just the way they're wired. You know.
True crime. Curious. I'm actually happy that you're thinking about covering the Anna Walsh case, or Anna Walsh case. Brian, I think it's
Right.
the Brian Walsh case. I'm happy that you're doing that, because it's funny, because I was like maybe I'll cover it, but Todd, you hit it on the head. You got to get it at the right time, because if not, nobody knows what you're talking about.
Because even my first couple of videos on the Donna Adelson case, as much as it was in the news when it happened, and then her son was convicted like over a year ago, like it took a couple of days to build a little bit of the momentum. And you gotta, I mean, we've all been doing this, like, I would say, long enough now to know potentially how to build the momentum, or to have a hook in the beginning of your video, or, you know, something to get people's attention. But it still took, you know, because until people started really saying, oh, I'm going to tune into this and I'm going to watch this, and it starts to get the traction that it did. So I think we probably all know that, but
You gotta be patient.
You got to be patient,
Really
for sure.
Kristin, what do you got?
Aaron Spencer coming up too.
Yeah. So
Aaron Spencer in Arkansas.
yes. So Aaron Spencer's like my main priority right now. The Derek case. I'm dealing with a lot of cold cases because I like putting those puzzle pieces together. So I don't know if you guys have heard about the other. I'll tell you about Aaron Spencer in a second. But the Pappy Killed Mommy one, I talked about this briefly on my page. But I have hopefully when Nikki gets back from Crime Con and gets settled, we're going to talk. But her mom, Stephanie Wasilician, basically was unalived by her live-in boyfriend, who claimed was her husband. And they have all the evidence pointing to him doing it. He literally says, like, on the 911 call, he's like, hey, somebody needs to come and hurry and help. And the little kid was even there and got in the back of the police SUV and told her sister, which was Nikki, Pappy killed mommy. And that's where the whole podcast started from. So she's got a whole podcast. She's got a whole page on TikTok where she shares. Then I have the 911 footage. I put like a whole video together. But he literally is like, we got in an argument and basically either I pew-pewed her or she pew-pewed herself. I don't know. But either way, yes, I was involved. Hurry up and get here. And then they did all these interviews, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, we don't have enough to convict him. And so he's been walking free. This happened literally in, oh God, what year was it? It was like 2000 and, no, it was 98. 98 or 99 is when it happened. No, 93, I'm sorry. July 8th of 1993 is when it happened. And he's just been walking free this entire time. So I've been kind of deep diving on that, going through all of that. And then obviously Aaron Spencer, who is being charged with second-degree unaliving for basically taking the life of 67-year-old Michael Fossler, who is being charged with 43 felony counts of SA of a child, possession of child picture, like anything that you could possibly imagine he did to this kid. I've been in touch with Heather, with Aaron, and with their son Malachi, who just turned 19. I talk to Heather like almost every other day, and she kind of keeps me updated. What's funny is she's like, what I think is funny about all of this is that I found out about the last motion to dismiss that was just filed on Aaron Spencer from your post on TikTok. Like, they don't even, like, they're learning from all of us that are reporting on what's even happening on her husband's own case.
Right.
So that just goes to show, even, you know, the attorneys are obviously busy, but that's a wild one because that affects every single one of our rights. And if you can't protect your child, who can you protect? You know what I mean? And that's what really bothers me more than anything is that this dad, literally his daughter was kidnapped in the middle of the night out of her bed. This man she was the star witness in this man's 43 felony count case. He was ex-law enforcement out of Indiana. So he had high connections within Lonoke County, Arkansas, was connected all the way up to the sheriff, who's connected to the judge. The judge that let Fossler out is the one that's trying Aaron Spencer in his case.
Right.
So the conflict of interest is wild to me. I'm a legal consultant, so I do trial preparation in all 50 states for attorneys. I have never, ever, ever seen where there is a judge that was on another case that's so closely related not be recused. And she was also caught drinking and driving in the courthouse parking lot, wrecked her vehicle, and that sheriff literally covered it for her.
Crashed her vehicle into the courthouse.
Into the freaking courthouse. And this is the woman that is literally tried to put a gag order on the family. Like, it's just, the whole thing is so wild.
Put a gag order. They pretty much put him through, charged him without ever going in front of a Supreme Court and put a gag order on the whole case. And was like, nope, this is just it. He's going to be tried with this. No Supreme Court gag order. You can't get into
no indictment whatsoever. Like, there's no jurors. They just filed the information. So it's second degree unaliving and then with a firearm enhancement, which is crazy.
Nuts.
For protecting his child.
And not to mention, when the dogs barked and he realized when he woke up that his daughter was gone, he knew immediately what it was. Told his wife, Heather, call 911. Grabbed his pew-pew, got in his truck, started driving down the road, caught up to them. He was going in the direction, the guy was going in the direction of his own Fossler. He rammed him off the road, pulled his pew-pew out and was like, because the guy was grabbing onto his daughter, and he's like, get out of the car, let her go. And whenever he got out of the car, he charged after him saying, F you, and he unloaded on him, grabbed his daughter, put her in the truck with him, reloaded his pistol and called 911 and said, this is what just happened. I'm staying here until you get here. I'm on the side of the road. And they still arrested him. And then they put contraband in the back of the police car.
On him.
Yeah.
Right.
Then they put contraband in the back of the police car and tried to blame that on him too.
And he had to
The amount of corruption is nuts.
Yeah, it's insane. Insane. That's a lot of what I stand on. Yeah, that's a lot of what I stand on, especially working on a lot of civil rights cases and constitutional rights cases. I've advocated for that for years and I say that, AD can kind of attest to this, but I say this all the time. Any platform I'm on is we can't be okay with people's constitutionally protected rights when it fits the narrative that we're speaking on, and then just be like, oh, this person's guilty. So as much as a lot of these defendants, especially when we're talking about true crime, as much as these defendants, we want to be like, oh, they're monsters and they're horrible people, they're still innocent until proven guilty, which I get is the unpopular opinion. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, if we don't sit here and stand on those constitutionally protected rights that we have, you can't just pick one and then be against another. You know what I mean? It protects us from situations like what's happening with Aaron Spencer, where he's literally being railroaded through a system. His bond was originally $250,000. It got reduced, 250 or something like that. It was reduced to $150. So he had to pay $15,000 to get out on bail for his case. But Michael Foster, who had 43 felonies, got out on a $50,000 bond, which was $5,000 cash. Make that make sense.
It
That's
does.
wild to me.
Amazing.
What's great is the fact that there's 4 people, and this I'm like more kind of addressing everyone. There's 4 people handling 4 different cases. And I'm gonna be honest, I learned something new from every single one of these cases. So I think that's really cool because we're all doing so much just by talking about it, just by bringing the awareness. Because Kristin, I think you hit it on the head. These attorneys are really busy, and they, just like Karen Reed, Todd, right? She had David Yannetti and other people watching social media to see, hey, what did they find out? Because we're doing a million different things. What are they finding out? There was times I was literally messaging her. Now, I don't know if it was really her, but it was on Facebook, and I would send her things, and all of a sudden, boom, I would hear it being talked about a month later. I'm like, huh, okay. Again,
We
that's
said
fine.
that too.
Yep.
And I was fine with
We're
that.
like, are they listening?
Exactly. I'm like, someone's definitely listening.
No,
But,
it was the account that had the picture of the letter on Facebook. That's her account because I've spoken with
Yes.
her on there before.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a letter.
yeah.
So you guys already know, right? I'm covering Amy Bradley, but I am going to be transitioning shortly. I'm going to be covering the Ashley Barnett case. Ashley Barnett's brother, Seth, is actually, I think he's still on right now. So his mom, I don't know the exact title, but his mom was also interviewed during the Amy Bradley Netflix documentary. And she, I want to say, was the passenger experience advocate, something like that. But her daughter, so Seth's sister, was found on a cruise ship, unalive, overdosed on rugs, but had zero history of ever using rugs. Zero history of it at all. Cruise ship safety advocate is what Seth just said. So him and I have had a bunch of discussions. Really looking forward to working on that, just because it's very similar to Amy's case. There's just like, how does this happen? How does someone get found unalived with rugs in their system, but they don't even have a history of ever using them? Something nefarious is going on there, and that's the next focus is Ashley Barnett for me.
Okay.
And what year was that? Was that the same time as?
No, that wasn't the same time. I think Seth might actually still be here. I'm gonna see if he wants to hop on real quick and say hello. I think he did do it earlier. Let me see.
While you're trying to ping him, someone
I
just
think it was like 04 maybe.
Oh, he said 2005.
Oh, 2005. Okay. Actually, he's
someone
right there.
just said, how can you possibly ever beat corruption? It will never happen. Money speaks all languages. I agree with that. I just want to, before I forget about this, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, you're
But
good.
the biggest thing that we can do when it comes to corruption is to advocate for holding the people that are corrupt accountable. And that is
Correct.
like, again, when we're talking about qualified immunity and absolute immunity, I get that they have hard jobs, but we also have to remember that they are people too. And they
Yep.
can't abuse the badge. They can't abuse that position of power that they have, because the law is perfect the way that it's written. It's people in positions of power that otherwise corrupt the law. And as soon as we understand that and advocate to hold those people accountable, then we'll at least see a change. We're never going to get rid of it completely, unfortunately. But
Right.
It's not possible to get rid of it, but you're right. You have to hold them accountable, and we have to be consistent about it. We can't be gung ho about Michael Proctor with the Karen Reed case for for 2 months and then forget about it.
Yeah.
Or
That is
you
true.
got to be consistent about it. And it's like raising children. You can't say one thing one time and think they're just going to get it. Like, it's got to be consistent, and you
The
have to
more
hold
that
yourself
comes
accountable
forward.
too.
The
100%.
more
Well, and
that
that's the case that
Look what
there's
happened.
been no justice delivered, right?
Right.
right.
So it's like people like us, you've got to keep talking about it, or else everyone else is just ready to just like put it away because we know why that's the case.
Yeah. Out of
Absolutely.
sight, out of mind.
Absolutely. Seth, thanks for hopping on, man. How you doing?
One sec. I have to go remind my
I'm on
husband
my
to
way
go
home
get
from
the
work, so
Go ahead. Seth, I apologize. Can you say that just one more time?
yeah, sorry, I'm on my way home from work, so I'm not even sure if this works in my car.
I can hear you. It's
Okay.
soft, but I can hear you. So, you probably heard me talking a little bit, right? And your sister's case to me is extremely interesting and, equally as intriguing, because when I heard that, how she was found and having zero history of this in her past, you immediately start to think something nefarious occurred, and you want to know why. And knowing that, you're advocating, just like, the Bradley family's advocating for Amy, the way you're advocating for your sister, tells me that, like, hey, there needs to be more attention on this case. There needs to be more eyes on this case. So many people say, well, maybe they'll find them, maybe we won't. It's been so many years. The fact that you're advocating for your sister, still going strong, that's commendable. So that's why I've chosen to take on to take that on moving forward.
I really appreciate it. I mean, it took me a long time to feel comfortable enough to really like publicly talk about it, mostly because we didn't really get any help to begin with. So I felt sort of lost.
Yep.
And finally, actually, Brad was kind of a motivation for me to put it on TikTok and start talking about it more. So, my close friends and my family all know that I've been trying to figure out what happened since it happened, but I haven't ever really publicly talked about it. So I finally decided to do it. And,
So we appreciate it, because
just
that's
try to
how
be
we
as
all learn, and that's how we all better understand it, is just hearing more about it.
Yeah, and I think the more eyes on it, the better. I mean, there's already been people that have brought up stuff that I just have never thought about. I'm like, well, I never thought about it that way, but it's possible. So
That's what it comes down to, right? It's bouncing ideas off of each other. Like AD and I, Crime Curious and I, Kristin and I, Todd and I, will go back and forth sometimes on comments or messages and be like, hey, did you think about this? Or, hey, what do you know about this in this case? Or, hey, what are your thoughts here? Loved how you did this. Like that. That's what it's all about, right? It's not about, when none of us are going to find every single answer, but it's about like the meeting of the minds and just bouncing different brain powers off each other and trying to figure out what makes sense, what doesn't, and eventually getting closer to the answers.
yeah,
Yeah, I always
totally.
say teamwork.
That's it. Teamwork makes that dream work.
Seth, I'm really sorry about your sister. That's terrible. I'm really sorry about her. Can you tell us a little bit? I'm curious, was this also Royal Caribbean cruise or?
It wasn't, but for legal reasons, I'm not allowed to say the name of the cruise line, unfortunately. But it's one
Right.
of the big ones. It's one of the most popular ones.
Okay.
She was with her boyfriend and a group of friends, and he was a recovering addict. I didn't really know that at the time. I think my sister was afraid to tell me because she knew how I felt about that. But he had been clean since they started dating, and I don't know an exact timeline, but shortly before they went on the cruise, he relapsed. And she had told him that if he didn't quit, she was going to leave him. And so they planned this cruise to celebrate her birthday, but also supposedly for him to detox, which to me is crazy.
Yep.
A 3-day booze cruise to detox sounds like a horrible idea, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't line up.
No.
he admitted to having methadone with him, which is what unalived my sister because she didn't have any kind of tolerance to it. So a very small amount can be lethal to somebody who doesn't have
Right.
an opioid addiction or a methadone habit. So because of international laws and her having to be embalmed between going from Mexico to California, we couldn't determine the exact amount of methadone, but that was the determination of the autopsy it was the toxic effects of methadone. And
All he
thankfully,
had to
my
do
mom
is
was
stick his
smart enough.
finger in there and literally put it in her drink and she would have overdosed. That's how toxic that is to somebody that does not have any. It's 10 times worse than F is, for those that know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, yeah, and I'm incredibly grateful that my mom was smart enough to do a hair follicle test to prove that she was not a drug user. Because I don't know if I was in that position that I would have thought that far ahead to think of doing that. But thankfully, my mom did.
I agree.
So, but
That's so tough.
the boyfriend, initially that first day, couldn't talk to my mom because he was being questioned. We didn't know who he was being questioned by, but it turned out to be the cruise ship security team, which they're not going to do anything, so I don't know why he had to be questioned by them. But once he was released from questioning, he refused to talk to my mom. And then he did end up calling her the next day, and for some reason felt the need to tell my mom that some of his methadone and his Vicodin were missing.
Why does he have
and
those two? You can't use those two together.
I know, that's always been my question, is if you're trying to quit using Vicodin, why do you, and you have methadone to try to quit, why do you have Vicodin with you?
And you can't, because if you take it with that in your system, it puts you in automatic withdrawal.
Yeah, I have no idea. We do know that it was never prescribed to him, but we don't know how he got it. He would never say how he got the methadone. Sorry.
What was his relationship like
You
with
could
your
just go to the
mom, like
doctor.
prior?
Not very close. I mean, cordial when they would see each other. They weren't like, they were never rude to each other or anything like that, but he wasn't especially close with any of us, really. I had known him for years because we went to school together, but I wasn't like really good friends with him or anything.
Any remorse from him whatsoever, or just?
No, in fact, if you watch, they did a 48 Hours episode, and they asked him, it was your methadone, do you feel responsible? And he said no.
That's awful.
I mean, if I was in that position and that happened to my girlfriend, I would completely feel responsible.
100%. I just
don't get it.
Seth, this may be kind of like a personal question, but what was your sister's like stature, size, roughly? Because that can affect how much she would have to take in or be given.
Yeah, she was thin. She was probably 5'7" and maybe weighed like 115.
Okay, she was a little one.
Yeah, she was thin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it essentially wouldn't take much, to get, you know what I mean?
The forensic pathologist that did her autopsy, that's what he said. He said it would not have taken much.
Yeah.
So
I think, Kristin, could that potentially be slipped into like a liquid, like a drink or anything like that? Like, could it be transferred that way as well?
That's what I'm saying. Methadone is a liquid. It's a pink liquid. So if she had like even a mixed drink, all they had to do would be to put the littlest drop of it in. I mean, it has a very, how do I say this? So for those that don't know, I was hit by a drunk driver back in 2016. The only reason why I know this is because I had to get off because they put me on an extremely high amount of pain meds. So when I was going through my physical therapy, I had to taper myself off. And they utilized a couple different things to block while I was going through it so that I could get off everything safely. It's the only reason why I know this. I've never been addicted and I don't have there's nothing against anybody that was. So I want to make that clear because I've seen some people in the comments. But it has a very disgusting and distinct taste. And I could never personally take it. And so I ended up just going through the whole thing. But to put that in a drink, I would think that she would be able to taste it is kind of my point, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So that's why but it is, to answer your question, it's a liquid. So all they had to do is put the tiniest amount. He could literally probably, if she's that tiny, stick his finger in it and just dip his finger in her drink. And that could very easily be enough to, for her to OD.
To the point where she probably wouldn't even taste it.
Yeah.
Well, what about even just giving her a kiss? You know what I mean? Like, would that be
That too.
something,
It depends on it. So it also has sublingual like properties in it. You know what I mean? That helps it like absorb through like under the tongue and the sides of the mouth and stuff like that. So it gets in the skin quicker, allegedly. Again, I don't know a ton about this. But what I do understand from what I read on it, because I did a ton of research, because I've never taken any medication in my entire life. So like when I went through this, and this is where addiction starts, because they don't tell you these things when they prescribe you these mass amounts of medication. And so I just took it as prescribed. And then all of a sudden I'm like in withdrawal because my body just became dependent on it for being on it for like 9 months while they were reconstructing my leg. You know what I mean? And so my point in saying all of that is they don't give a lot of this information. They don't say, hey, keep it away from, obviously they say keep it away from kids, but they don't have all this information out there for people. So even if she, like, let's say he took a drink of it and let's say they divided the dose and like a little bit got on the outside of the container and it was sitting on a counter and she just picked it up to move it. Again, it just like F, if you guys know what I'm talking about, the F drug, it can seep into the skin or just, it's not as dangerous as like, F can be inhaled, right? And that can cause an OD, but with the liquid, it can seep into the skin and that can be enough. You know what I mean? So for 110 pounds, again, I don't know. It's hard to tell for, and if she's on any other medication too, or if she was drinking anything that night, all of those things can have adverse effects for somebody that's not used to it. You know what I mean? So again, I'm making guesstimates here. None of this is fact, guys, because we're just kind of brainstorming on what could have potentially happened. But yeah, it's one of those hard situations that they don't tell you, hey, keep this away from anybody who has absolutely zero tolerance to any opiate whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One other aspect of it that I didn't touch on is that to get it onto the ship, he put it in a Dayquil bottle.
Oh.
So he insists that she knew it was in there because he poured it into the Dayquil bottle in front of her. But I have a hard time believing that. But
That makes no sense.
it's possible that she knew, but
it makes no sense if he reports that they went on this cruise to be sober, but she knew.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was for him his last hurrah, or so to speak.
My understanding is that that doesn't really actually do anything for you, and I don't know anything about it, so it's hard. I mean, a little bit from researching it, but it doesn't make you feel anything, is my understanding. So I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe
it's a blocker, is what it is. So it's. I don't. From what I understand, is it helps with the neurotransmitters that are messed up from opiate addiction, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So you don't.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm having a tough time not following what you're saying, but I'm having a tough time like comprehending it because Ashley was very clear. Like, if you don't get clean, pretty much we're over, we're done. So why would she know that he poured meth in a Dayquil bottle?
It binds the receptors, is what it does. That's the word I was looking for. So it's an antagonist. So it binds to the same receptors as as any other opiate would bind to, but it activates more slowly. So it prevents those withdrawal symptoms, is ultimately what it does. So again, I don't know. All I know is of what doctors said to me, because I had kids when I was, trying to get off my medication. So they were like, that's why I said it initially. I was like, I don't want any of that in my house around my kids. And I just opted to end up, going through the BS for like 2 weeks and then it was done. You know what I mean? But again, for somebody that's been, actually addicted for a long period of time, they need that because it takes longer for that to get out of their system, allegedly, from what I understand. Again, this is not fact, guys. I know the law. I do not know medical anything. I'm just stating based off of what doctors have told me. But it binds the opioid receptors allegedly.
Seth, were you able to hear what I was bringing up a minute ago about Ashley pretty much said, like, hey, if you don't kick this habit, like, we're done. But then the boyfriend said, well, she knew that I put this in the Dayquil bottle. Like, that to me just kind of doesn't add up.
Yeah, exactly. To me, it never did either. And he hasn't spoken to me since then. Well, even before that, he never spoke to me afterwards. So I haven't even had a chance to ask him any questions. So that's maybe one of the first things I asked him is if you were supposed to be using this as a detox, she would have had a problem with that on the ship. So did she really know about it, or did you sneak it on board without her knowing?
Yeah.
What would she have done, Seth, if it was sneaked on? or snuck on, excuse me. Let's use the right grammar here. If it was snuck on, like what would her like? What is her personality there? Like if she found out that he lied to her, is she just like a really and then move on, or is she like a I'm a stickler about it?
No, she would have been furious. I mean, she's definitely assertive. Like she wouldn't have just rolled over and said, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And we do know that they argued that first night from people that that were staying in cabins around them. We know that they argued. According to her boyfriend, the argument was about getting up early to go to court the next morning. To me, makes zero sense because he then states that when he woke up, my sister was still sleeping, so he left the cabin to go eat. But if you were arguing about getting up early to go to court, wouldn't you have woke her up?
Yeah, you would assume.
Yeah.
Was that the same day that it happened, or just?
Yeah, so according to him, they went back to the room at like 2 in the morning. She wanted to go to bed so they could go to port the next morning, and he wanted to continue to stay out at the casino. So they argued. He left the room, left her there. She went to sleep. He came back at like 4 in the morning. She was asleep. He woke up at like 11, and she was still sleeping, so he left the room and came back at like 2 and said she wasn't breathing.
Yeah.
That doesn't add up.
No,
No,
it doesn't happen at all.
It adds up to his narrative, but his narrative is wrong, for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Where is this boyfriend? Is he still like around? Like, is he still like with us, so to speak, or is he like gone? I know you said he hasn't really talked to you, but is he like pretty much gone in hiding and not talking to anybody?
he is. Everybody that I know that used to hang out with him says that they don't know where he is. I think I might have found where he lives, but if I'm going to talk to him, I really want it to be in person. Because,
I agree.
You know, having I don't really talk about this much, but I was a cop for 13 years, so reading body language is a big part of talking to somebody. And
100%.
if I do it over the phone, I feel like some things are going to get lost.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Just be careful, as you know, if you're going to do that face to face.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is his mentioned in the documentary? Or can you
I'm
mention
sorry?
his name? Can you
What's his
mention his
name
name, or is it mentioned?
I'm not mentioning his name just as a personal issue, but it's all over the place on Google, and he's in the 48 Hours documentary. They interviewed him, so it's out there. I just, I've got a family to worry about, and I don't really want to.
No, I completely
You're
understand.
right.
Yeah.
We can just Jen McCabe it, and we can look it up.
And I just want to be clear. I'm not, and I've said this before, I am not trying to blow his world up. I'm not trying, like, if he's off and has a family and everything, like, I'm not trying to blow his world up, but I think we deserve to get some answers that we haven't had a chance to get in 20 years.
Right.
And it can just be a one-on-one, me and him sit down and talk, or him and me and my mom, or whoever, but I think it's high time that he sat down with one of us and talked to us.
Yeah.
So
Enough time has
basically,
gone by.
is the reason why he's not being formally charged because there's no jurisdiction and on the cruise at the location they were at?
That's what I believe. I think the FBI decided because it was in international waters that they just didn't want to deal with it. So they just they interviewed all of them and then just kind of let it go.
And what location, what part of the Caribbean was with the cruise?
They were going from Long Beach, California to Ensenada, Mexico. It was just a little 3-day cruise.
Okay.
That's the issue with cruises, though. You don't know whose jurisdiction you're under. When a crime occurred, is going to occur, like when did it happen? Where, like that we learned that in Amy Bradley, right? It's like, I've never been on a cruise, and I don't even have a desire to, because anything can happen somewhere. And when there's no jurisdiction and there's no law enforcement it's like, we saw the Bradleys were screwed. They didn't know what to do. Get off the boat, stay on the boat. Are we in Curacao? Were we in Aruba? Where's the American FBI? Like, that's scary to me.
That's the
It's
issue
lawless.
too, because typically the
Lawless.
any crime that's committed in international waters is going to be governed primarily by the laws of the vessel's flag state, which would be the country where the ship's registered.
Right.
However, there's also jurisdictional issues that, again, depending on, like you said, Todd, where you're at, where it can be established by other countries if there's a connection to their citizens. Like if the victim or suspect is a national, then you're pulling in, again, other countries now. And then you have the United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea, which provides kind of the framework for how all of this works. So admiralty law is so complicated that, again, like you said, if the tail of the boat is in one country and then, you know what I mean, the front of the boat is in another country, now, you know what I mean, like that those things happen, especially when you're traveling. It makes it hard.
Sure.
100%. I agree, and I think that's probably the toughest thing. I've said this many times. You have to be careful most of the time when you're on a cruise ship. There's no actual quote unquote police officers. It's typically security. Security is hired internationally. They're not police, and anything happens over international waters, you literally just do this.
Yeah.
There's not much that can happen. There's not much that can protect you. Nothing against cruises, but that's just the reality of it.
Right.
Which is why they're still going. They're still making money. They're still
Billions upon billions.
down. Yeah.
Seth, Kristin, True Crime, AD, Todd, I gotta go be a dad, make some dinner. Every one of you, I appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
No, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'd like to do this a couple times a month. I think everyone can learn from every one of us, and I learned a lot of new things tonight, and I think it's great. And I think having all of us in one place where everyone can ask their questions, I think is awesome, and we're able to bring some awareness to it. Seth, you and I will chat shortly about what we're going to do, but no, I appreciate every one of you guys. Thank you so much.
300 people in here. Make sure that you guys follow your host and everybody else in the boxes so that y'all can join us.
And if you
I was
grab
gonna
the
do
hard
my
link at the
famous plug. Tell your friends.
We're getting Brian back on the map. Back on the map.
Yeah, beat you to it. Damn hamsters.
Everyone follow everybody you see on the side of the screen here, because every one of them are doing some real good things. Just doing God's work out there, just bringing awareness to all different cases. So we all greatly appreciate every single one of you. None of us are anything without all you guys and your support. So we thank you guys.
For sure.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you all.
Brian. We'll get you back up there, bud.
Absolutely.
You got your back. We got your back.
Nah, thank you so much. Appreciate you all.
right,
We'll talk
guys.
soon.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night,
See
guys.
everybody.
Night, everybody.
Bye.